Now, the NSE commenced on a very subdued note today, with the market turnover declining 15.4% on Monday, and this was on the back of reduced local investor participation. Nonetheless, the benchmark NSE 20 share index notched higher 1.5 points to stand at 5,140.92 points, while the all share index, on the other hand, was up 1.2 points to stand at 159.12 points. Eric Munywoki, research analyst at Old Mutual Security, joins me in studio to discuss the market update. Now, looking at the numbers, and I see local participation was very low today, yes, as opposed to foreign investors, although of course the market is more skewed towards foreign investors. But looking at just the split, foreign investors participation was very low. Why was that the case?
Like you have seen with the inflation numbers which came out last month, we have seen inflation rate rising from 7% levels to over 8% levels. And what that means is it means the cost of living is going up for most of the investors in Kenya. And what that means is we are not likely to see a lot of activity from the local investors, but rather we are going to see a bit of activity from the foreigners. On the other hand, we do have the third semester, which begins in this quarter, and
the school term.
Yeah, the school term. Yeah, and what happens is we see a lot of parents trying to recoup the investments and put them in payment of school fees.
Is it typical for local investors, especially the way you're talking about selling some stake in the stock market to pay for school fees? Is it typical for for local investors to invest savings, to invest short-term money that they require maybe in another 3 months, and that's the reason why you see very erratic movements when it comes to participation of the local investors?
Yeah, we do have some speculators in this market, and that has been the norm in the recent past. And what you have seen here, we do have some of the investors who are in for short-term gains, and they'll put some money in an investment speculatively, then recoup that after a certain period of time.
So going by what you're saying, then in December we'd expect also a similar sale of shares in the stock market in anticipation for the festivities.
Yeah, mostly like in the recent past, we have seen the trading activity in December been very low, and this has been because of the festive seasons. And what happens is investors would sell their stocks and go and invest them and use the proceeds either for holidays and shopping. And that has been the case for the first few years.
Yeah. Well, we have a long way to go till December. It's not that long, but it's still long looking at where we are in the month. But looking at it from the perspective of participation, and I see local investors were very heavy in trans-sanctuary, but flipping over to foreign investors, I see they were quite active in East African breweries. Yeah. But looking at those two counters, why are we seeing participation, that heavy participation in trans-sanctuary at a time where their profitability was, they didn't perform that well?
With trans-sanctuary, I saw that the company lost a bid in KPC tender, that is the construction of the storage facility. But that is only one of their tenders. And going forward, we see there's a huge potential for this company, because we are looking.
Where's the silver lining?
The silver lining is on the power. When you look at the East African region, and not only the East African region but the Sub-Saharan region, you'll find we do have under supply of electricity. And when you look at what the company is doing currently, they are trying to invest a lot of their resources into power, which is likely to give them better returns in near future.
Of course, and I'm thinking that's what also local investors are looking at. Probably they are looking at it and pricing ahead. Many thanks for joining us. Well, that is Eric Munywoki. He is a research analyst at Old Mutual Security.